Okay, hello, good afternoon. Um, Today is Tuesday. For some people, it's a Monday, it's a Blue Monday because yesterday it was a holiday after Freedom Day. I hope you had a wonderful day. It's a cold day today. Actually, I feel like I should be covering myself with a blanket. But for now, we are here, and as promised, I am going to be reading. This is day 12 of our book. Today, we are reading on Love, Simple Yet Complex. I'm beginning part 4 of the book, titled The Love in My Belly, Falling in Love. So that becomes a bit interesting. And I started this part with, I don't even know if I could call it a poem, but just declarations, just statements of me saying or declaring what I think for me love is. Hi Muki, hi Kombi. So I'm going to read, and it reads as follows. I'm not going to read the declarations, I'm just going to read the book. Okay, love simple yet complex. My best friend introduced me to my ex-husband. They were friends before I came along. It was 1997. I had just completed my first university degree at Vista University, and I was staying with my father in Soweto. My friend called me one day and said, "Skoni, I have found a man for you." I took it as a joke and said I will meet him when I come back home. When we met, it was like the house had been set alight. We fell hopelessly in love. I was besotted with my ex-husband. The fact that he was easy on the eye and was a policeman, a man in uniform, girls, you know what I'm talking about, also counted to his favor. Hi, Asifa. I loved his mind, his thinking, his apparent knowledge of a lot of subjects. He loved reading. Those who know me will attest to the fact that I am easily turned on by a man who is able to mentally stimulate me with knowledge. I am a proud and unapologetic sapiosexual. My ex-husband was the first man who ever saw and spoke about a future with me. Hi, Tepo. My ego would like to believe that he also knew that he had found a gem, wanted to have it and keep it for himself before other vultures came and snatched it away. Love is one of the most talked about emotions. There are so many love songs, romantic movies, romance books, and poems. One of the songs that we used to sing when growing up was What is Love? Baby Don't Hurt Me by Hathaway. The sad thing about love is that at the beginning of the relationship, there is a lot of euphoria. Unfortunately, because of a lack of understanding and communication, some relationships end with heartbreaks and sadness. Even Graham Hilton Lyle and Terry Britton wrote the song What's Love Got to Do with It, which was performed and sung and made popular by Tina Turner. The song talks about refusing to admit that we are in love because love tends to hurt us. We may accept that we feel all the symptoms that are associated with being in love, but we rather stop it in the mind. rationalize it, and say it is only physical and logical. Even though there is a phrase for what we are feeling, it is better to ignore it because love is just a second-hand emotion. Who needs it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? If love is such a great and wonderful thing, why is it that there are lots of hurt people walking around because of it? Is it because our expectations and understanding of love are wrong? Is it not time that we sit down and have a conversation about what this emotion is all about, why we experience it, how we should treat it, and how we should behave when we are in a relationship? Is it maybe because we do not understand the purpose of relationships and what it is supposed to do for us as individuals, couples, and community? These are the questions that I ask myself a lot. As a mother, aunt, sister, and friend, I sometimes find myself talking about love to my family. I had no choice but to reflect on it. After my reflections, I wrote the opening of this chapter. When I say I love you. For me, due to immaturity and expectations that were not met on both sides, my marriage ended in divorce. My biggest challenge was that I got married without having an understanding of who Tamani is, what she wants in life, and most importantly, what is a relationship? What makes a successful relationship? Being in love is great for any relationship, but in most cases, it is not enough. If both parties do not have respect for the sacred space, it can turn the most loving people into doing and saying things that are out of character, and that may unfortunately destroy what they have. It is even worse when one of the parties does not even understand that they first need to work on themselves, acknowledge, clean, and declutter their own sacred space before inviting another person into that space. Most of us enter relationships and marriages with unrealistic expectations. Unfortunately, most communities do not have classes where children are taught about the sanctity of marriage. We learn through observing our parents and family how to behave in marriages. Our parents also learned from their parents. So if our great-grandparents got it wrong, it means that maybe almost everyone in the family and society will most certainly get it wrong. It also comes back to the way we were brought up. It has been documented by a lot of writers and speakers that boys and girls are brought up differently. Girls are bought dolls, kitchen and household equipment as toys. They are taught how to cook, clean, do laundry, and all the household chores that their mothers and grandmothers grew up performing. Hi, Heki. From a young age, girls are conditioned that their main purpose on this earth is to get married, have a family, and take care of them. Hi, Ceci. On the other hand, boys are bought cars and guns as toys and encouraged to be adventurous. When a boy climbs trees, breaks down stuff to see what is inside, and comes home late, no one raises an eyebrow because that is what is expected from them. However, when a girl does the same thing, she is labeled as a tomboy. Being a tomboy is associated with connotations of rudeness and impropriety, which is seen as failure to observe standards of honesty or modesty, improper behavior or character. It is associated with behavior that is dishonest, socially unacceptable, or unsuitable for a particular situation. Mothers will get worried because their girls might not get married due to her adventurous or boyish nature. Hence, they will try by all means to train the poor girl to suppress her adventurous or boyish nature. With this at play, some women believe that the only thing they have to achieve in life is to get married. They do everything to snatch a man. After achieving the ultimate purpose, they start to relax and not want anything beyond that. On the other hand, for a man, a family is just a starting point. It gives them the motivation and inspiration to go out into the world, become more adventurous as they work on providing and taking care of the family. Because of the different ways in which both genders are raised, they may not understand each other's behavior. Women may expect the men to be as satisfied as they are about staying at home and raising a family. They do not get it when men still want to go out and do other things outside the family, because for some women, having that family, that's it. Men may also not understand why their women expect them to stay at home and not go to provide for them. And this is where most of the arguments begin. So, yeah, I will stop here for today. Yeah. Love is the most difficult topic. As simple as it is also difficult to understand. Yes, I agree with you 100%, Tepo. Hence, my title is, it's so simple, but yet so complex. So, two things that I want to point out in what I read. The first thing is the whole issue of the sacred space. Now, I didn't read the previous chapter on the sacred space. If you have the book, or those of you who have read the book, I have explained exactly what the sacred space is all about. And probably you might get a bit lost as we continue because you don't have the background. But just to give you a bit of background, Martin Buber, one of the philosophers, describes a relationship as a sacred space. So what does that mean? So if something is sacred, it means it is holy. It means you don't want to do anything, to put anything that is dirty in that space. Most of us that are believers, and I hope most of you who are listening are believers, most of us who are believers, when we go to places of worship, hi Muki, we first sort of cleanse ourselves. Christians will always say before they start praying, they will talk about speak the blood of Jesus upon themselves to cleanse themselves of all unrighteousness or the sin, because the blood cleanses the sin. Other religions will perform, maybe wash their hands, wash their feet before they get into the holy place. It is a holy place. When you've got those who practice traditional, what do we call it? It's religion as well, hey? They will take off their shoes before they get into that hut. Because that place is holy. It is sanctified. You don't want to go into that space with negative things or with bad things. And that is why it is a sacred space. So if we take that kind of thinking and look at relationships like that as a sacred space, it means when two people come together and they say we're starting a relationship, they need to be very careful of what they bring into the relationship. Yesterday we spoke about baggage. We're all tributaries of this river of pain. We spoke about all the things that we bring into the relationship, our brokenness. We've been hurt before. This one lied to us. All those negative things that we have carried. And we need to be very careful when we get into that sacred space that we cleanse ourselves of those negative things. And if you approach a relationship as a sacred space, you will know that you don't bring cheating in there. You don't bring unfaithfulness. You don't bring any negative thing, because whatever that you bring is going to affect your relationship. And the sacredness of the relationship between the two of you also extend to the sacredness of the family. Because think about it. If you meet a person today, or you've met, most of you are, some of you are married here. When you met your husband or your wife, before you introduce them to your family, you first suss them out. Like, will this person really suit and fit in my family, you start, maybe you even prepared them that, my mom will ask you this question, please answer them like this, or my brother is like this, because you know that what kind of people are accepted, what kind of behavior is accepted in that space because of its sacredness. So relationships are sacred. Relationships are holy. When you start a relationship, you need to first cleanse yourself of all the negativity, all the baggage, all the hate, all the previous whatever that you're carrying, so that when you get into that space, you respect it because it is sanctified, it is holy. That is the first thing that I wanted to just to explain, giving you background in terms of the previous chapter. The second one that Tape has already alluded to, the most difficult topics. I like starting these topics that sometimes I don't even have answers on, and I will say, but what is that? What does that mean? I remember one of my friends said, Taman, you are troublesome. Why do you have to bring this issue? Love is love. And I'm like, yeah, love is love, but what is love? Because sometimes we think that we know what love is. Well, sometimes I think that I know what love is. And then you meet a person, you think you are loving them, and you are surprised to find out they think that, no, you're not showing me love. That's not the kind of love that I want. Those of you who read the 5 languages of love, you will know that people prefer to be loved differently. Just because you've been in different relationships and you think you are romantic, however, whatever you define as romantic, the person you are with at that point in time, it might not necessarily be the way in which they prefer to be loved. So I start this chapter by just asking a question that, when you come to me and you say, Tamani, I love you, but what exactly do you mean? Because I have outlined for myself, those of you who've got the book, you will see, I have outlined for myself, this is what I mean for me. If I say to you that I love you, this is what I mean. So if you say you love me, what is it that you mean? If you say that you love your partner, you love your wife, you love your husband, what exactly is it that you mean? We cannot assume that people are loved the same way. Other people prefer gifts. Other people prefer words of affirmation. Other people prefer, just to spend time with them and connect. Have you ever been with a person who, in your mind and in your heart, you're like, oh, I love this person. I love them with all my heart. And you're doing everything that you think in your mind is loving them. And then when you're having a conversation, they turn back to you and they say, you really don't love me. I don't see you loving, and you get so surprised as to, but I love you, and I've just bought you flowers, and I've just bought you that, I've just done that. That is how I show that I love you. So what I'm basically saying here is, if you say that you love someone, I know that sometimes it can be okay, Tebo. Love is complicated by women folk. These species are complicated. Men are too simple and basic. Women. So maybe you can tell us more, Tebo. If you say women are complicated and men are simple, because you see men who say, for me, love is respect. But then what is that? Those are words that we use. Do we have a common understanding of what respect is? As a man, how would I know that you are certain that I love you? What is it that I need to do to make sure that you are certain that you love me? Maybe we are complicated. But then when you read that book, and I know when that's happened, you've read that book. When you read that book, it doesn't talk about gender. It talks about human beings, individuals. What is love? What exactly is love? I don't know. What is love in your opinion? How What is it that will make you, when you go to bed this evening, to be sure that you know what? I am loved. Maybe something that we need to think about. I don't have an answer, but I just know that for me, this is what I mean when I say I love you. But for you, when you say that you love me, what do you mean? Men just want to be seen, to know that you fully see them. What does that mean, Tepo? Because those are big words that you're using there. Men just want to be seen. How? We run together, I see you. What does that mean if you say men want to be seen? Lol, I beg to differ. I think most men don't. Or replying to Tepo, okay, so I think most men don't want to understand nor learn their spouse's love language. So this is an interesting one. I'm not a man. I will not answer to that. So this is bias, Neneti. Because maybe you've got experience, and I'm not even going to ask how many men, because as your aunt, I'm not going to go there. But interesting. I would really love to hear what other people are saying about this topic. Any takers? What do you think about what Nenet is saying there? She says, you men, do not want to understand nor learn your spouse's love language. Muki, are you there? Okay. Maybe you can continue commenting even after a topic for another day. Coffee session. Okay. We'll have to make time for coffee or running session musing. Hi Leo, do you have a comment? What is your take? Men don't want to understand nor learn their spouse's love language. I don't know whether it's an accusation or it's a fact or it's an opinion. But anyway, guys, maybe we can continue commenting on it afterwards. On that note, I just wanted to talk about these two, important topics. The sacred space. It is important for us to understand our sacred space and respect that. And what exactly is love? No, I will reply in a moment. Okay, you'll reply offline. Okay, so guys, if you still want the book, inbox me, say hi, Tamani, I want the book, and we'll make arrangements for you to receive the book. And yeah. How can you understand when you guys talk so long? Whose guys? What are you trying to say? Too much info to process. Are you talking about today's session, or are you talking about in general? Okay, guys, this topic won't end today. So, yeah, we can continue commenting. We can continue having a chat afterwards. But yes, take care, and we'll continue tomorrow with these interesting topics. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye.